Yeah, sure, sure.
So this is mostly about how we prompt LLMs. So when I am referring as LLMs, so that can be Claude, that can be ChatGPT, or that
Okay.
or any other LLMs like Gemini. So whenever I refer to it as LLM, so just understand it is just one of the like AI resource like ChatGPT and Claude.
Okay, got it.
So let's start from the first page. So okay, so here it is mentioned about same AI versus different results. So it's mainly about how you give your information, whatever you want to need to AI and get it out of it. For example, if you are trying to uh, paraphrase something in French, and if you just write a simple sentence to it, so what output will it give? And also, if you give it detailed enough prompt to it. So, do you know what prompt is at this point?
I mean, if I'm searching for something, I give a specific word. Is that a
No. So
word?
prompt is actually the question which you are asking or something you are looking for. So that will be referred as prompt. So if you see at the left hand side, there's that vague prompt which just says write an email. So it will just give a generic response. So ChatGPT or Claude, it will just give a generic response so about any email, or it will ask any questions regarding what contents do you want in that email. And another one is the clear prompt. So you're asking the Claude or ChatGPT in detail about what you actually want. For example, write a polite 120 word follow up email to a client who has not responded to our website proposal. So this is the detail in a prompt. So this is just a basic example of how you should start writing prompts or ask different LLMs. So the result, which will be in the second one, obviously it will be detailed enough and it will take care of what you actually told it. For example, if you told it about 120 word thing, it will just
Mhm.
and just create it in 120 word. So mainly in this prompting, it's actually say that garbage in and garbage out. For example, if you give something worse to it, it will also give something worse out. So if you give something good, for example, detailed enough, maybe write about even the person's name, that salute this person, and write about any context or any situation, and also write give date and time and everything in the same prompt, then the response will be different. So it's mainly about how and what you ask it. So the more detail you mention, the more detail you will get out of it.
Okay.
So what is the prompt is, we already talked a bit about it. So it's the question or the instruction which you input to your LLMs. So it just says that a prompt is any input or instruction you give to a generative AI system to guide its response. So this slide is presented like in more technical format so that if you are already in using AI, so some words will resonate. So mostly generative AI system is also the LLM, which I was referring to. So mostly it's a question or input from your side. So you give your input and that LLM will interpret the input and generate a response for you. So there are many engines running behind it, but at the end, it just gives the response what you actually wanted. So so your prompt can be a question which you directly ask. It can be instruction or what to do in detail, or you can even mention step by step, do this, then this, that sort of thing. So that can be instruction or that can be a context. For example, in this context, it can even be any PDF or your uh, PPT file or any sort of file which you attach. So in that input, you can just add a file and even write something in addition to that. And in that prompt, it could be an example. For example, keep any example of email directly in the prompt, and you can mention that write something similar to this. And agent will just write it and give it to you. Or a prompt can be image or a file which we already talked in context. So you can just provide an image or maybe like a screenshot of something, and just if it already has some instruction in that image, it will follow that. Or if you add some text from your end, it will also follow that. Or it can be an audio. For example, you can ask something verbally, and agent will process it and give the response. So this is just one of the examples which you have mentioned. For example, explain solar energy to a class 10 student using simple language and one real life example. So what it will do is it will just give explain solar energy so that even grade 10 student will understand it, and it will give one example, exactly what you mentioned. And also we can make this prompt more strict, so which we will talk later on about providing how much words you want, or restricting it so that you don't get any responses which you don't want to see, so that sort of things. So you get what prompt is, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, it's just an input from your side, and input can be of any type.
Any type. Yeah.
So what is prompt engineering? So prompt engineering is a whole process of writing a prompt mainly and getting a result, uh, like accurate result or your intended result, I would say. So prompt engineering is the process of designing, testing, and refining instructions to help an AI system produce the desired result. Exactly the same thing. So first one is defining the goal, whatever you want out of the agent. And second one is writing the prompt, which you will just type it out and review the response at your end. So you need to review it so that you make sure that whatever you want, it's written exactly as it is there or not. And identifying the gaps. So if there is something missing in the prompt, you add it or edit it or delete some part, and then refine and repeat means same process. So make the perfect prompt and then give it to the LLM. So takeaway is great prompting is an iterative process, not a one-time command. So for example, if you already give one prompt to the agent and it gives some response, so you can still define it in the same chat and provide it to the agent, and it will give you a better response. So it's about making the prompt better so that you get accurate result out of it. So moving to the another slide, why does prompt engineering matter? So main outcome which you want, for example, what your intention is, you exactly want that thing out of the agent. So that's why it actually matters. So your intention, and that's why you need a better prompt for that. And as a result, you will get better response. So we are talking about these five things, which are clarity. So AI better understands the task. For example, the prompt which you have written, everything is clear and well structured, then obviously it will understand what you actually want. Maybe if you want to draft a letter, which in any structure or any specified structure that you should have at least five paragraphs, or it should have three sections. So if it is clear, it will exactly do that. But if you just tell it to write a letter on this subject, it will do whatever it wants. So it's clarity. Another one is relevance. Sorry. So relevance. So relevance means mostly whatever you want to ask, the topics will be relevant. So don't drift from the topic so that it exactly generates what you want. And control. You guide the tone, length, and format. For example, you can also mention the tone that write the email in more polite manner, or if you're writing to your juniors, you can mention that I'm writing to, you need to write an email to someone junior from me, so it will salute according to that. So there will be more control and length of it. For example, write me uh, any paragraphs which reaches 2 pages in the Word document, so that can be the length example, and format as well. So another thing is consistency. So similar inputs produce some more reliable results. So consistency means, for example, in your input, if everything is consistent and everything is linked to one another, it will be better as a whole prompt, so that the whole response which you get is better. And last one is efficiency. So you save time by reducing repeated corrections. So the example which I gave at the beginning, for example, if you just told it to write a letter, it gave you a letter, but you did not give the word count, you did not give any further information, then you need to type it out again that, okay, reduce it to 120 words or add this topic. So you need to repeat again and again. So if you don't want to do that, that means you must have a proper prompt at the very beginning. So if your prompt is already the best one at the beginning, which you wrote, so that means that you will save your time. So it mainly means is that. So takeaway is that better prompts reduce guesswork for both you and the AI, obviously.
Okay.
So where can you use prompt engineering? So education, for example, explanations, or you want to create any notes from your textbook or any other materials. And when you want to make any quizzes, for example, if you are teaching any class in French and you want to create the quiz out of it, maybe 20 questions, so you can just um, add that chapter and just ask it to create 20 questions quiz. So it will create it for you. So, but it mainly will depend on the prompt which you mentioned, that what sort of quiz you want to make, and uh, what should be the difficulty level and everything. So it can help for it, and also study plans. So for example, creating a syllabus, or maybe if there are, let's say, if it's a 60 days class, so prepare the class plan for around 60 days. So it can do it for you. And second one is the professional work. So obviously in professional work, for example, um, generating the meeting notes or planning the whole meeting, or if there is any work or any task which is given to you and you want to plan it or structure it step by step, it will help for you. And research, for example, any topic exploration, if there is any topic which you want to ask about to the LLM and know more about it, and if there is any subject also which you know want to know more about it, you can do it for research, obviously. So I think most of the people use LLMs for research. And if you want to create any summary or any source comparison, for example, you got a fact and you want to compare it uh, with different source. I mean, what is it saying in source A and what is it saying in source B? So for research and data. For example, of the, let's say we have an Excel sheet which has almost, let's say, 50 to 60 tabs, and it has a lot of information, and you just want to get something out of it which is very specific. So at that point, you can just attach the Excel file and just ask it any fact. For example, what was the maybe profit of 2023 of the company, if it is about company details. So it will just go inside the Excel file and it will look for your prompt, whatever you asked, and just get the result out of it. So it makes the life easier. So for data analysis, it is used a lot. And if you want to, let's say, create any other document which is a subset of that document, that can also easily be done. And another use case is coding. So it's mainly about if you want to build any apps or make any automations and or anything. So it can do it for you. If there is any problem in code, it can help. So coding is obviously a bigger use case. And another thing is this creativity. So if you want to search about any ideas, let's say about any, if you want to do any business in 2026 and you want to know more from LLMs, you can just ask about it. I want to do business in 2026. So what are the different businesses which I could start this year? So it will do some research and bring out some ideas for you. And also, if you want to make any presentations or create any image or even videos these days, and everything. So that can be done using this. So everything is possible, which we see digitally using AI now. So takeaway is that one prompting skill, many real world applications. That means that whatever you want to create digitally, whether it's text or it's image or it's any presentation or it's any video, everything can be done using AI. And for that, you will need a better prompting skill. So
Mm-hmm.
one real example could be, let's say you want to create a video. So if you want to create a video, so your prompt engineering must be the best one, because in that video there will be a lot of details. For example, um, how many person are there in that video? I mean, how many characters are there? What is the story? Entire story will be part of the prompt. And if you want any music, what sort of music you want, and what you want to that character to do in that video, and all these details, everything will be part of the prompt engineering. So that's why you should structure your prompt in such a way that your video, generated video, is exactly how you wanted it to be.
Okay.
So this is about what happens at the backend side of the AI when you enter any prompt. Let's say if you are in Claude or ChatGPT, then after you enter an input, what happens? So first step, obviously, you provide input, whether it's a question or instruction or any image or any file which you provide as an input. After that, AI processes the content. So what it does is it extracts all the text, and if there is any image, everything from that file, and then it understands it at the backend. And after that, for result, it predicts the response. For example, if we follow our same example of email, so you ask to create an email for the first step. In second step, it will understand everything which you give it to AI. So it will just understand how many words you wanted and what kind of tone you wanted and everything. And in third step, it will predict the response. So in AI, actually, it is like word by word, better than word. We can say it is token by token prediction. So every word can be termed token generally, whether it's not. So it just generates what the next word should be. So it will create the whole email just using the generation. And at the end, it will just trap the whole output for you. So which will be your actual email, which you asked at the first step. So the note here is that AI doesn't understand information exactly like human. It generates responses using learned patterns and the context you provide. So it will only do what you tell it to do. For example, if you just provide very less information, it will just do it in that less information. It's very rare case, or sometimes these days it will ask for some information, uh, come back and ask to you so that you can give any information to it and again process it. But generally, it just does what you give it. So it's mainly about what you are providing it. So what AI does well and where it struggles. So in AI does well, we can say that drafting and rewriting content. So if you already have a content and you want to rewrite it, or you want to maybe, let's say, prepare a script for any video, then AI can draft it easily for you, but it will need more context from you in your prompt. For example, what do you want in that script? So if there are any characters, or if you want to explain something paragraph by paragraph, so that will be there. And another thing is summarizing large amounts of text. For example, if you provide a whole book to AI and you want to summarize it, then it does it properly. So it's already at that level. And brainstorming ideas and alternatives. For example, if you're looking for any ideas, which I get example before, for example, the business ideas. So it does that pretty well. And explaining concepts at different levels. So for example, if you ask any question that explain me something which is related to physics, let's say maybe gravity, let's just for a simple example, and it gave any definition and it gave some examples, but let's say you didn't understand that, then you just can give some prompt to AI that make it simpler, give some simple examples so that I can understand or anyone can understand. So it will just make it more simpler so that you can understand that. So it can do it at the very basic level to the very high level. And another is point is about